Hello, I am Mike Jones, the Education Manager for the Oracle Applications Users Group. Welcome everyone to OAUG's preview of Collaborate 19 session. Today's e-learning session is titled Collaborate 19 Preview, Upgrading to R12.2 Tips, Pointers, and Lessons Learned, a functional guide to what you need to know. OAUG will host over 500 sessions on topics pertinent to Oracle applications, such as this one at Collaborate 19 during April 7th to the 11th in the San Antonio Convention Center. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a couple of housekeeping items. You will be on mute throughout the presentation. If you'd like to ask a question, please type it into the question box in your control panel at any time. Once the presentation is concluded, I will read the questions back so the presenter can respond. We are recording the session. It will be available on the OAUG website tomorrow. Next, I'd like to introduce you to one of our presenters at Collaborate. His name is Art Dowd, and he's with O2 Works. Take it away, Art.
Thanks, Mike. Good afternoon to everyone, maybe some good morning also, depending on where you are. The slide I have up here right now is the overview and agenda, not of what I'm going to cover today in the preview, but what the session will entail at Collaborate. My name is Art Dowd. I'm Consulting Director for O2 Works. I got my my stripes in IT, working as a VP of IT for a hospitality company before I moved into the consulting side of the business. I had implemented Oracle EBS, and I have 20 years experience with the Oracle applications, working with a couple of good small consulting companies and actually with Oracle themselves for a little bit. I'm also a board member of the OAUG Upgrade SIG. What we're going to talk about today is the upgrading to R12.2. Question you have, people say, why upgrade? Why upgrade at all? Oracle basically will tell you that when there's a compelling business reason, meaning new features and functionality that will assist you in your business. Some of the other things you look at would be take advantage of tech stack improvements, stay in support, and you'll have better support from Oracle when you do have to patch current. Excuse me. Oracle E-Business Suite support schedule is also something very important to most people, and something that people focus on a lot as to when they actually upgrade. October of 2019 on the 18th, basically open world time, Oracle announced they're moving to a continuous support model for release 12.2. What that means is there won't be a 12.3. And future releases will have you will be able to upgrade your technology stack with tech stack upgrades and patching up, as well as your applications, and you can separate those. And so effectively, if you want to improve or increase the functionality and keep current with your middleware, you would do a tech stack update and you would patch up on that. When you typically do a tech stack update, it'd be like quarterly patching, would be something similar to what you're doing today. The testing is not as extensive. However, on the other side, Oracle will be putting out enhancements to the applications basically once a year, similar to RUP updates, and you would then patch up to that level typically annually. Now, when you do that second patching for the applications themselves, you would have to do full regression testing, similar to what you would have had to do from a testing standpoint on an upgrade. So the tech stack updates, you don't have as great of a burden on testing, but the application upgrades, if you take the updates on there, you will have significant testing that has to happen. On the support overall, you hear a lot of stuff about, oh, EBS is going away. Oracle has committed to providing premier support on the 12.2 release through 2030. And starting in 2019, they'll evaluate that and see if they want to extend it. This is what it looks like in the document. As you see on the top box there, 12.1, if you're on release 12.13, Premier support ends at 2021. There is no extended support. You would go on sustaining support at that time. There's a whole new category now for 12.2 because of the continuous improvement release. And that what it shows here is the current release right now is 12.2.8. It came out in October 2018, and the Premier support will last and through 2030. And give me 1 second here. There we go. I reworked the support timeline to show you, obviously, February 2019. This is where we are. You see the green line going to the end of 2021 for release 12.13, and then moving to sustaining, whereas the continuous release support of 12.2 will actually go through 2030. This is where you can find the document, so you can actually find it yourself and have the information at your hand, and keep an eye on what happens to the support dates, because it's very important to a lot of people when they look at their upgrade strategy. Basically, there's two types of upgrades. One is a technical upgrade only. You focus on the tech stack in the past. It's led by the tech DBA team with little functional support. So you don't have much of it's not a large effort on the functional side. It was very common back when you went from 11.5.9 to 11.5.10. And the success of a tech stack upgrade or technical upgrade would be you go home on Friday for most users who aren't involved. They come back Monday and there's no change to the system. And that makes it a success. The second upgrade is a full business aligned upgrade where you're taking a look at your application, making sure that you're in line with your business objectives and your ROI expectations. It's a wide-ranging project with a lot of people, a lot of resources. It spans across IT and business and requires executive sponsorship because of the amount of resources. It's also very much of a change management project. It's not just a technical upgrade. And basically what this represents is what happened when you went from 11.5.10 to R12, all right, or an upgrade that would require a significant amount of functional involvement, as well as some retraining and getting used to and acclimated to the new application. In my presentation, I will be going over what we do from a process standpoint, whether or not it's a technical or full-blown upgrade. These are items that we cover. There are actually slides behind this, which obviously I don't have time to go over today, but we will be talking about building a repeatable process that you can use in all of your upgrades. We'll also discuss the upgrade process flow, how the process works, where the key places are that you want to focus your activities on, and what you should be looking out for. We'll go over critical documents that we use as far as making sure that you have the right documentation, test plans, things like that to, as you go through the upgrade, these are things that you want to use as you move through the project. We'll also go through upgrade timing and the timeline, similar to one here. This is a 3-iteration upgrade that most you can employ for either type of upgrade. The difference would be the amount of time that you spend. Obviously, you will spend a lot of time testing, and some of the key elements we'll go over would be customizations, where they figure in. And the reason for 3 iterations is you increase your testing as you go along, and you enhance the amount of testing that you do as you're going through the different iterations. Upgrade project team size. So what I mentioned before on the left there is a full upgrade, where you see all the boxes are all filled in. That's a significant amount of resources you're dedicating to the project. Again, this is what you had to go through from 11.5.10 to R12 because the user interface had changed, the data tables had changed, the application look and feel had changed. So everybody pretty much had to relearn an aspect of Oracle EBS. On the right-hand side, you have what we call the technical upgrade, where most of the changes are technical in nature. And so from that standpoint, the focal team is the DBA, your technical lead, your developers, and some of your functional super users who would also assist in the testing. There's no real strong need to relearn all of the application. That does change if you're adding new features and functionality. You would obviously have to get people ready for those. But the reduction in the project team size as you go from a full upgrade down to a technical is very important for a couple of reasons. One is obviously less resources, less money, less time. And the other thing on top of that is from a cost perspective and the amount of resource diversion expectation, technical upgrades are probably, I would say, maybe a 30 to 40% of the cost now on this upgrade as you go from 12.1.3 to 12.2 as compared to when you went from 11.5.10 to R12. So it's a significantly smaller project when you're going from 12.1 to 12.2, with the exception of what your DBA is going to have to go through and learning how to patch a whole new way. Few critical considerations that basically span any type of upgrade is you want to do some planning ahead of time to make sure you're adequately set up to be successful. And there's a lot of facets to that. Coming back to what I mentioned initially about finding compelling new features for an upgrade, I'll give you some information sources. This here is one, the education subscription, EBS subscription. They have a lot of good videos on here about 12.2 and about how it is that it can be helpful to you. On the left is the screen you'll see as you log on, and then you basically drive into the free access and content that then you can drive down into some of the different videos that are available. There are multiple roadmap and features presentations from Cliff Godwin and some other folks who have developed EBS. There's also different presentations on what's new in R12.2.5, 12.2.6, 12.2.7, and I'm sure 12.2.8 will be out there also, as well as some of the work they're doing with the mobile app. So these are things that will give you information as to what the new features and functionality are. Also, the old standard My Oracle support has a lot of release content documents, value proposition documents, and training videos that will tell you about the new features and functionality. I just skipped over something, so let me pop back. Yeah. Let me drop down to where I should be. All right, here we go. Here's just very, very briefly, here are some of the new tips and new features in 2018. Overall, the tip is this. Enhancements to EBS, no surprise. Oracle is going to be stronger in areas where they have their own operations using it, okay? Even though they're in cloud today, they had been using EBS. So things like financial procurement, HCM that they use as part of their business, obviously, they're going to have stronger features and functionalities there. They have made improvements in certain aspects of these, like order management for subscription management. Obviously, with Oracle doing the cloud, they have improved their subscription management piece of order management. iSupplier enhancements for third-party brokers. There's a lot more features and functionality around manufacturing, warehouse management, inventory, and shipping functionality, obviously from Oracle and their hardware business. They've also enhanced the asset lifestyle and service improvements for things like enterprise asset management for managing maintenance tasks and scheduling. In my full presentation, I'll give you more in the way of these blocks here and some of the enhancements you can look for in the application to kind of wet your whistle at stuff you should be looking for to improve your EBS as you go from 12.1 to 12.2. The reason for this is back in the day when you used to call your Oracle sales rep, you would get a guy who could lead you through features and functionality, and they would do demos and things like that. That's no longer the case. Your sales rep is now selling you cloud. So the deal is, if you're an on-premise customer and you don't want to hear the cloud story 15 times, you basically want, these are the guys you want to call. They are focused on Oracle ePremise EBS sales and can help you if you're expanding or you need licensing or anything from an on-premise EBS standpoint. One of the critical things you're going to have in any type of upgrade is going to be your customization strategy. So we'll give you some information on and places to look for information on how you handle your customizations and the best way to go about that. Another critical point of any upgrade is going to be your testing process. That's the amount of effort, that's the most amount of effort typically that goes into an upgrade is obviously the testing to make sure everything works the way you want it to. Next, I will go into on my presentation a little bit about 12.2, the 12.2 application, what makes it different, because it obviously is very different from a technical standpoint. 12.2 is kind of what you hear as it came out in 2013. It's the holy grail of patching. So you have minimal downtime. So when you used to go through an upgrade before you get to 12.2, your upgrade would mean you would come down out of service, take the system down for basically days. And so what this means is any large patching exercise going forward, there's only a minimal amount of time that you're out of service, and that's when you have to repoint your app server at the end. 12.2 takes advantage of something called addition-based redefinition on the 11G and 12C databases. And basically, what it allows people to do is have 24-hour shops, worldwide operations, or 3-shift manufacturing operations. They don't have to suffer through significant downtime, and it slims the amount of downtime. Man, it did it again. Let me get back to my right slide again. All right, so in short, what it is you have actually 2 different editions of your file system, a run edition and a patch edition, that one is actually operating and the other one under the covers there is working through the upgrade itself. So at any point in time, you have these 2 different systems that are effectively coming to be identical. And at the end of the patching exercise, you flip from one to the other. Now, for the typical user, there isn't much that they see as far as this one goes. However, if you're a long-standing EBS DBA who's learned to patch a certain way, this is completely different for you, and something you will have to completely relearn your job. The good news is that there's a lot of 12.2.5 implementations and upgrade 12.2 upgrades and implementations over the last few years. So there are a significant amount of experienced DBAs who have experience with this new patching technology. So you can find help if your DBA needs it. But if your DBA is an old school DBA who doesn't like to read the manuals, they're going to have to break the trend on this one and actually go back to the basic and read the manuals. Other 12.2 discussion topics we will cover in the presentation are top 9 frequently asked questions about online patching. We'll dive into a little bit about what it really takes. 14 things that stand out and that covers DBAs, developers, hardware and resource considerations, because you do have dual systems and you do have a larger database. Customizations and code evaluation. There are actually tools out there now that will evaluate your 12.1.3 code and show you exactly what it is that you need to fix as you're going up to 12.2, and those are very helpful. We'll tell you how to get to those. We'll talk about adoption planning and some additional risks that you might come across with 12.2 and what to expect from your 12.2 operations once you do upgrade. Information sources, I will go over a few of them in a lot more detail than what I'll show you here. This is the 12.2 Information Center. It's an excellent starting place because you can actually go here and it will fan out into a variety of different areas, giving you content documents and all kinds of other information that you can use in your upgrade. Very helpful place to start. Other places on here, and we'll give you more specifics as far as some innovations for 2018, where you can find the video, information on My Oracle Support, specific notes as to what information you can find and where. And my favorite on here, down the bottom there on blogs, Stephen Chan's blog on all things EBS. He does a fantastic job of telling people what works, what doesn't, and what you need to be aware of. So if you don't subscribe to that, we highly recommend that you do. One last topic I'll cover here is called upgrading to the cloud. Obviously, you're inundated with a lot of cloud talk, so I wanted to throw a couple of things down here. One is when people say lift and shift, and you can move your EBS to the Oracle infrastructure, that's correct. That's basically a hosting move, and you can maintain your EBS on an Oracle platform that they manage for you. That's basically hosting. It's Oracle on demand, what they used to call it, or moving your EBS on-prem to Amazon, to Microsoft Azure, Google Rackspace, whatever. That is not Oracle SaaS, or software as a service, which is the Fusion application. So Oracle wants everyone to move to their Oracle SaaS application, their Fusion application. Lift and shift is not that. When you go from EBS on-prem to Oracle SaaS, there is no upgrade. They will call it that. It is not an upgrade. It's a massive re-implementation. Your customizations are replaced by best practice functionality, so you cannot customize the application. You don't have access to the data tables anymore because it's their application. Your data runs on their application. And then also there's something called the Sword of the Cloud program that came out in June of 2018, which is designed to move customers from on-prem to Oracle SaaS Cloud. Initially, they on June told you it was a 24-week project, but they didn't really tell you how much your re-engineering would take place, because most of your processes are going to have to be re-engineered because they're not going to be customized as you had them in the past when you were on-prem EBS. Oracle SOAR offered you, the base offer included 30 reports and also 30 interfaces as part of the package. In Larry Ellison's second Open World keynote address today, he mentioned the Oracle SOAR program again and said that the average Oracle SOAR project takes 18 months. So in the few months that it went from the release and went from 24 weeks, it's now up to 18 months. And that, as I mentioned before, does not include, or maybe it does include, the re-engineering efforts that you would have to go through. I have 3 other noteworthy presentations I wanted to mention here. I probably should have gone through and done more. First one up there is my other one, which is the talk about the cloud. And I give strategies, if you're an EBS customer today, how you want to maneuver yourself to the cloud, and effectively talk about how the cloud operates, how Oracle operates in the cloud, and what you want to do if you're an EBS customer today. Second one I have down here is the upgrade SIG. meeting, which is on Monday. We have a panel which people can come in and ask any question that they want about upgrades in that 1 hour session. So if you have any questions at all, you can come in and ask those to the panel. And then the last one, which is very good to watch, is the Cliff Godwins, who's the Senior VP of Application Development at Oracle, does an update strategy and roadmap session as part of the OAUG. He'll do his session on Monday. Not only will he talk about the direction of the product and the support, but he will also go into a lot more detail on new features and functionality that you can avail as you look at the EBS. And that's a widely attended session and definitely one that's worthwhile. And so you definitely want to plan to go to that. There's my ad for my company, O2 Works. We have very experienced resources with 20 years of experience. If you're at the conference, feel free to stop by and visit us in booth 601, the Expedition Hall. And there is my email address. Feel free to email me, ask me any questions. I love getting questions on upgrades and even more on cloud because I'm such a fan. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them to me in my email. And if there's any questions at this point, Mike, I'll be glad to answer those.
Great, thank you, Art. Yeah, if you have any questions, please type them into the question box of your control panel. I did want to ask Art a couple of questions since he has been to Collaborate for so many years. First off, Art, how many years have you been presenting at Collaborate?
I probably about, I'm thinking 8. I would, you had asked me that earlier, and you know, that's the first time anybody's ever asked me that, but I'm thinking it's probably about 8.
A lot of experience there. One of the great reasons why our users, our attendees really love Collaborate is because we have a lot of user sessions. We have some associate or consultant sessions. I did a user session earlier today on blockchain, and now we're doing an associate session, and Art is one of our associates. So, you know, if you come to Collaborate, you can talk to users, you can talk to consultants or associates, and then you can also meet Cliff Godwin or Nadia and talk to them directly from Oracle. I know Natalie Bean, you had on one of your slides earlier. She's going to be doing some sessions as well. She will be there. So we've got everyone coming to Collaborate. So it's really a great conference where you can get together. And if you are planning an upgrade, it's probably one of the first things you should do is go to Collaborate and see what everyone else is doing, see the do's and the don'ts, and kind of figure out a strategy after that conference is over with. So I want to thank you, Art, for your presentation. Again, if you have any questions, please type it into the question box of your control panel. You do have Art, who is an expert and has been through many upgrades of EBS and can easily answer any questions you might have. Or again, you can go to Collaborate and talk to him directly. Things. Art, what's some of your favorite experiences from your past Collaborates?
Oh, I really enjoyed the presentations, and actually the the back and forth in the Q&A sessions at the end of the sessions have been excellent over the years, and it's fun to me to meet people who we all assume. Obviously, I assume from the consulting side that people are all in the same place when it comes to certain topics, and it's always fun to see where different folks lie on the scale as far as how often they upgrade, how familiar they are with it, and then obviously cloud. A lot of people have a lot of questions on cloud because it's such a large subject, but I really enjoy the questions and I mean, for me, Collaborate's all about learning. Not only the people coming, but even the people who are presenting obviously learn new stuff, hear about new experiences, because these are the people who use it, right? You go to open world, it's pretty much about marketing of the cloud. When you come to collaborate, you're talking to people who use the system, who know what works and what doesn't work, and it's a whole different level of discussion. And it's very, very, very much it's an interesting discussion because it's not theory. This is how it's been working, and this is how it works for me, and how do I get around it? So very, very fun to have those discussions.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Art. I know that another type of session we're going to be having at Collaborate will be cloud panels. So if you're deciding to go to the cloud, or you just want to kind of look at the cloud, those panels will be really good. There'll actually be a lot of Q&A back and forth between the panelists and the attendees at those sessions. We do have a lot of people that, a lot of people are staying on-prem because they've done kind of the ROI on it, and they've determined that on-prem is the way to go, and that's what they're going to do. And then, you've got other people that are kind of looking at that ROI, whether they should move to the cloud. So there's going to be a lot of interesting discussion on that. We did just get one question just popped in there. Okay. Is there a way to turn the online patching turned off in release 12.2?
No. Unfortunately, the answer there is when you go to online patching, can you turn it off? No. You're basically, that's what you get going forward.
Oh, that was a pretty straightforward answer there. Okay. We got a thanks from the attendee. So again, I think that's it for right now. I'm not seeing any other questions. I want to thank Art for doing this preview and actually going to Collaborate and presenting as well. I know his session will be is always really popular. Again, the upgrade SIG is definitely a spot you'll want to go if you're considering doing the upgrade. So again, thank you very much, Art, for your presentation and the time and all your support.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys putting these on.
Okay, thank you. All right, everyone, this will conclude our webinar, and have a great day.
Thanks.